Governor Juffa says slogan misapplied. Tension as residents block road over death. And First World Ice Cream Day celebrated. Welcome, this is Sunday's News. I'm Charmaine Poriambe. Northern Governor Gary Juffa says people must not deter from the slogan of Take Back PNG. In a recent news conference, Governor Juffa says the slogan has been adopted by the Pangu-led government, however, has been misapplied. Juffa says Take Back PNG simply means developing resource laws to enable Papua New Guineans benefit while managing the economy.
The Northern Governor says the slogan Take Back PNG is simply making decisions for the people. Governor Juffa says despite the government embracing this philosophy, public servants are not working towards achieving its objective. He says current laws are colonial laws and does not serve our people.
We must at all times strive to design and develop the laws that will allow us to develop these resources for our benefit. The resources that we have in this country, our home, Papua New Guinea. That once we are able to achieve that, then we will be able to have firm control of the economy that we can then say is ours and therefore we are independent. And only then can we be able to construct the future.
Take Back PNG is the original slogan for the People's Movement for Change party created by Governor Juffa and its members. He says if public servants and the state make decisions for the people, PNG's economy will climb back through the support of the country's vast resources. Juffa says the current public service system is failing the slogan.
Right now we have many government departments that are very busy selling Papua New Guinea. They are facilitating permits and licenses, the theft of land, the theft of resources. These are facilitated by Papua New Guineans, by the way. And we can't keep talking about Papua New Guinea and how independent we are and how great a nation we are when this is happening and we are turning a blind eye to it.
Juffa has criticized both the previous and current government of its effort on national issues and functions of government. The Northern Governor says if Papua New Guineans are selling the land, sea and its people to cheap investors, nothing will be achieved to raise PNG status but see service delivery to decay.
We cannot just say one thing and then turn a blind eye to something else that's happening that is obtuse to the ideology of Take Back PNG. We want genuine investors who will come in here and respect our laws, respect our country. We need investors. We need them to come and help build this nation and this economy. And many are willing to do so.
Jack Power Jr., National EMTV News.
The road from 6 Mile Roundabout into Saraga has reopened after it was blocked off by relatives of a man suspected of armed robbery who died at the Port Moresby General Hospital today. After hearing of his passing, relatives of the deceased who claim the suspect died as a result of police brutality attempted to bring the body to the 6 Mile police station. However, police units including Dog Unit, Fox Unit and 6 Mile Police responded and did not allow the protest to take place. When St. John Ambulance went to remove the body between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. today, few gunshots were fired, forcing St. John to withdraw. An hour later, a convoy of police vehicles drove into Saraga community to clear the crowd. Meanwhile, police have advised that the road is now free to use. Northern Province has experienced few damages after the 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck 120 kilometers northwest of Popondetta last Friday. At Killaton, located between Oro Bay and Gona, few houses made of bush material collapsed and water wells in the area also dried up. Locals noticed the Bango River becoming muddy after the earthquake, possibly caused by landslides further upstream. Meanwhile, the Volcanological Observatory Geohazards Management Division reported that the dormant Mount Lamington had white clouds covering the summit. There were two notable aftershocks. One occurred on 17th July at 7:18 p.m. at 4.1 magnitude, and a second with a magnitude of 4.8 on 18 July at 3:35 a.m. Both aftershocks were reported in the same area at the 7.3 magnitude earthquake. It has been 3 months since the Marape-led government announced its intention to not renew the special mining lease for Porgera gold mine in the Enga province. Since then, 2,700 people were laid off, 200 enterprises were forced to close, and mine contractors recorded a loss of 140 million kina in the first 2 months of the shutdown. Hence, the Porgera Landowners Association have sided with developer Barrick New Guinea Limited, calling on the Marape government to extend the SML for Barrick and allow the mine to resume operations.
In releasing a joint statement with Barrick New Guinea Limited, the Porgera Landowner Association say the cease in mining operation has affected banking and health services in Porgera town, including the electricity supply for the last 3 months.
Porgera services longer place am cut off now. Kind of in power and blackout.
In a statement released by Porgera Joint Venture, Barrick CEO Mark Briston in June 2019 met with Prime Minister James Marape, where Marape said the PNG government valued Barrick's partnership and invited the developer to submit proposals for the extension of the SML, adhering to a 50-50 sharing of economic benefits. The statement further explains that after meeting with the state negotiating team, Barrick presented a 20-year plan on Porgera, which would have delivered 52% of overall benefits to PNG stakeholders.
Maybe suggest him Prime Minister, negotiate or discuss on them Barrick. That's the only way forward. Immediate remedy, if you like. Lawyer mine reopen. Because no company come inside. The government bring him come inside, or government embed like operating too, and by taking years to exploration.
With the matter now before the courts and mining operations ceased for over 3 months, Barrick estimates that 5.4 million kina is lost in revenue for landowners and the Enga provincial government each month, including an additional 68 million kina loss in tax revenue collection for Papua New Guinea.
Suppose this la refusal belong lease emi rousin, and by call the emgan rousin. Because long failure blow you lo ino come communicate one them people long negotiate. Na you go hurry up the zone na go get him refusal. So Barrick gives him you go court.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
This is National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back. A new book about Papua New Guinea's taxation system was launched recently by the IBS University. The book, titled PNG Taxation, aims to inform readers about income tax laws and practices that have been changing consistently over time. Author Joseph Palimi says career users like accounting technicians and consultants will find this book resourceful.
The new book, titled PNG Taxation, focuses on the knowledge of tax administration and practices in the country, specifically in the area of income tax. The book was written by Joseph Palimi, a professional in the field of accounting, and is recognized by IBS University and Southern Cross University. According to Palimi, his vast experience in the field of accounting have enabled him to compile the textbook based on PNG context. The book is an addition to existing textbooks published by IBS University on business laws in PNG. The book will enhance students' learning in the field of taxation.
There is a maxim which says, if you can't do, teach. If you, whoever invented that Maxim should have said, if you can't teach, write. So basically I tried my end at working, teaching, and then now I'm author.
The PNG taxation book was published with support from IBS University, Internal Revenue Commission and PricewaterhouseCoopers or PwC. Due to the enactment of new taxation or related legislations, the book also aims to update readers about the income tax laws that have been changing over time. IBS Chancellor Gabriel Pepson was the first recipient of the book.
And I'm glad that IBS University, you have been able to, Samika Nades, to be thinking about it and then not just thinking about it, but to do something about it.
A representative from IRC in his remarks highlighted the importance of taxpayer awareness across the country. He says PNG's tax law is quite challenging, that it takes time for someone to understand it. He further thanked the author and IBS for their vision to compile this resource book.
ILC has taken huge restructuring and support from government to move to be a corporate level.
Magiuli further adding that as a government agency, IRC is committed to helping the people, and they will put in place a graduate development scheme and sponsorship program for tertiary students.
We will be offering a graduate development program and graduate sponsorship program this year.
Rayon Lakingu, National, EMTV News.
The Southern Highlands Provincial Assembly has endorsed the creation of 2 new local level governments. The Assembly met recently to propose for Upper Nipa LLG and Sugu Valley LLG in the Kagua Erave district. This follows lengthy discussions of increased population and scarce service delivery in the 2 areas. Governor Poe says the Assembly unanimously agreed and endorsed with documentation to be presented to the Intergovernment Relations Department this week.
The Southern Provincial Government has recommended or approved for the 2 separate LLGs to be created, and we have unanimously approved that and resolved, and will consult with the Intergovernment Relations and Department of Intergovernment or Provincial and Local Level Affairs to get an NEC decision so that these 2 LLGs become separate and they operate.
Gender-based violence in PNG has gone out of control and is an emerging public health crisis and serious human rights issue. As Senior Specialist Obstetrician and Gynecologist in Women's Health, Dr. Matthias Sapuri says the government should establish a royal commission to look into the root causes of gender-based violence and develop effective policies. Dr. Sapuri says the national government needs to take a drastic action to control and eliminate violences of all forms. He says existing laws to protect the victims are there but are not effectively enforced. Dr. Sapuri says the country needs a new approach to dealing with gender-based violence, and the findings of a royal commission can help achieve that. Parents and children in Port Moresby who visited the nature park today did not only satisfy their sweet tooth, but also contributed immensely to the welfare of the park's wildlife. All proceeds collected today at the first World Ice Cream Day celebration will go towards a nature park's wildlife appeal. Some parents and children arrived as early as 8 a.m. at the park and started buying ice cream tickets well before the ice cream cart arrived. Laga Industries had it all covered to pass the time while waiting with 4 huge bouncy castles. Laga Industries brand category manager Rupeni Igara said today was an opportunity to introduce the new Rock brand ice cream since the merging of Laga Industries and Paradise Foods Limited.
So the idea behind that came after the companies merged, And it was just a way to sort of signify our merger by pulling two favorite products from both companies and putting them into one.
All proceeds from today's event go towards Nature Park's wildlife appeal.
And that is basically to help them sustain their operations and keep continuing their operation businesses so that everyone can enjoy it going forward.
Nature Park initiated a wildlife appeal after it struggled to regain financial standing to opening its doors to the public and its commitment to animal welfare, conservation, education and research.
The SOE, and we're very fortunate we've been able to work with David Manning and his team to work on a COVID safe plan for the park to ensure that we can have visitors through the park. And so one of our activities is that we've had to launch a wildlife appeal, and that's really about trying to help the park fund all this ongoing care for the animals so that we can try to hopefully recover.
McGeorge is also grateful for other sponsors who have come forward in contributing to the welfare of the park.
But for us, it's most important that the park can continue to look after its wildlife, but also that we can continue to look after rescued animals that come to us, that we can rehabilitate them and return them back to the wild, and also our research and conservation work. And all of that only comes about through funding. As a charity, we rely on people to support us. So, we're just really hoping the community gets behind us as well as the business community, and just want a big shout out to everyone who's already supported us.
The Port Moresby Nature Park derives 70% of its income through public visitation and local business support. Over to Morobe, and there is always a first time for everything, and celebrating World Ice Cream Day in Lae today is one of those first. This family affair organized by Laga Industries brought kids, parents, aunties, uncles and even the old to celebrate a day of ice cream near the DCA beachfront. Lucy Kopana with this story.
Despite the dull weather in Lae today, families still made it to the 710 Trading Car Park to celebrate World Ice Cream Day. This event, which has not been celebrated in the country in the past, was organized by Laga Industries. The kids were excited about the ice cream and, of course, the bouncy castle. Ice cream as we know it is a mixture of sugar, milk and other flavors mixed and frozen to make this sweet creamy treat. The making of ice cream is credited to the Chinese dating back to 2000 BC. Thousands of years on, different flavors were created. One of these flavors is Gala's new Rock Rock ice cream made with the Gala vanilla ice cream and the Rock Rock biscuit. Lae residents were given a chance to taste this new product, and this is what some kids had to say about it.
It tastes like Rock Rock biscuit, but it tastes like a different flavor and I like it.
It's nice because it's a crunchy biscuit. Alright, they're nice. This ice cream is actually really nice.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
When we return, we bring you this week's A Closer Look. Last week, we brought to you part 1 of a 3-part series on gender-based violence. After captivating the country, prompting peaceful marches and passionate pleas for help, Jeneline Kennedy's death has brought to light serious obstacles in the fight against gender-based and domestic violence.
The momentum has built up into a crescendo. Various NGOs, government organizations and private citizens have come out in the wake of Jeneline's murder, calling for swift action by legislators to ensure that this becomes the last of its kind. And condemnation rife.
People who commit violence against women should be thrown in jail.
Within Port Moresby, NCD Governor Poes Pakop announcing recently that bus stop wardens would now be placed along all major transit stops for PMVs in Port Moresby. He acknowledged that it is unsafe.
But most importantly, be able to show comfort and give security to women and girls who are coming to the bus stop. They must feel that they have a security, or they have a young man or young woman out there who will help them to feel at ease and safe.
At the Shine a Light Vigil and after Yvette Ranagi's powerful speech, Prime Minister James Marape would sign off on a pledge by anti-GBV advocacy group PNG Man Up.
No to compensation. No to one-talk system. No to taking cover under the shade of customary and traditional obligations. For violence, bigot violence, and violence must be subdued by proper dispensation of justice.
Other politicians are pushing for change as well. Police Minister Brian Kramer himself acknowledged the effect it's had on officers within his department who are dealing with these cases on an almost day-to-day basis.
June last month, I was informed that 647 cases were recorded for domestic violence. While we are talking about one, this is just 647 cases in 1 month in Port Moresby. One can only imagine how many cases are unreported or throughout the country.
Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, Dame Meg Taylor, called into question the direction that Papua New Guinea is heading, asking what kind of country are we building for the future generation when women and girls are being tortured, abused and killed, and where families are saying nothing. Dame Meg penning a heartfelt letter full of regret and sorrow with an appeal for change. Her letter outlined a number of alarming concerns that have already been pushed for by various members of PNG society and NGOs as well, which included instilling values into young men on the treatment of women and the manner in which PNG society at present views women and girls. A highlighted area in her statement was on the legal systems in place in the country, which have been designed as protection mechanisms against instances of domestic and gender-based violence. She said the laws are part of our solution to protect those who are assaulted and attacked, but that is not enough. The responsibility rests with every citizen. Current Miss PNG and national football team captain Lucy Minor also joining the fore.
When he raises his voice, when he threatens you, these are the red flags to watch out for.
And Housing Minister and member for Moresby South Justin Tichenko in a recorded interview had this to say.
We can put in tougher laws, which might be a deterrent or will be a deterrent, but it's still going on. I mean, I just saw on the social media today 2 other women were just belted and bleeding and head split open and all the rest of it. So what happened to Kennedy and all the hype and all the rest of it didn't deter men not to continue to belt their wives and all the rest. So what is it? One, it's a traditional cultural thing through different ethnic groups. 2, it's born into our men that women are inferior, and that has to change. So we have to teach the children at the lower level, the kids in class, in school. Women are as important, girls are as important as us men.
Jenilyn wasn't as well known in life as she is in death. What then is next is going to be dependent on a variety of factors.
My part.
The calls for a look into violence at a domestic level and instances of violence between gender is being scrutinized. The PNG Law Society in a statement highlighted more than just one aspect that needed to be addressed. The statement read,
Parliament has amended provisions of the Criminal Code to increase deterrent penalties. The Family Protection Act also simplifies the process of enabling the vulnerable to access justice and seek protection from the law. The Women's Safe House concept has also provided a further medium to shelter women needing protection from violence perpetrated by spouses or intimate partners. By even then admitted that given the frequency of this kind of violence, it seems more work is required, saying, appreciating that this is a complex and cross-cutting issue, perhaps we can look at what the research has flagged to inform the way forward. Do we need to change our perceived customary practices and cultural beliefs about gender and sexual difference and hierarchical relations? Do we need to rearrange the way we think about male privilege, power, and patriarchy? Is a further contributor associated with a lack of economic and education opportunities and a breakdown in the family unit and family values? We pose these questions to see how we can foster change. Jeneline Kennedy isn't the first. Ruby Laufa, former Miss PNG, Regina Morave, and countless other women have suffered the same fate, albeit under different circumstances. When PNG boxer and rugby captain Debbie Kare was assaulted, it caused a massive stir. Her sister Rafaela, also a boxer and a former sprinter for the country, was among those marching.
Women need to come out now and start telling the stories about the violence that they've been going through, and it's time that in journalist's case, and in journalist's case, it's something that we all have to really step up. Women can't be hidden and being silenced most of the time because violence.
To an international observer viewing Papua New Guinea for the first time, it may appear straightforward to fix. Do the law, make it tougher, give more powers, done. It's a complex issue that needs a closer look from a political standpoint, a legal stance, an educational outlook, a cultural perspective, and more importantly, holistically, PNG as a Melanesian society with the hopes of being the richest black nation in the world, knowing that wealth is more than just kina in the pockets.
Trukai Sports is next. We have Fidelis Sukina at the sports desk.
Thank you, Charmaine. We have results of the Intercity Cup and others. Details after this break.
Trukai Sports.
Good night and welcome to Trukai Sports. Gulf ISO are in the winner's circle as of yesterday after losing their two opening round matches in the Digicel Cup. The Gulf ISOs defeating the Mount Hagen Eagles 16 points to 10 in yesterday's opener of the doubleheader in Port Moresby.
I think there was a forced pass.
The Gulf ISOs had a slow start with the Eagles stringing a few passes together for winger Vincent Neri to score in the 4th minute.
And that came from a very
successful conversion extended the Eagles' lead to 6-0. The ISOs came back in the 19th minute, centre Charlie Cotter, dummying and taking on the defence to score.
And they should score. The Gulf ISO have gone in to score.
ISO halfback Uni Patrick added the extra 2 points. With the scores at 6-all, interchange one pace Tuli, putting a short ball to a flying Patrick Palme for the team's second.
Was the ball over the line or is it a try? Try!
ISO stretching their lead to 10 points to 6 into half-time. The Eagles bought on the aggression in the second half with a storming Desmond Michael, levelling the scores at 10 apiece.
Eagles will score, and there it is, finally.
Desmond Michael. But the ISOs managed to close the game off with Patrick Palme going in for his second and the match winner.
Palme crosses over. Brilliant try there.
Isso's coach Nigel Hukula said they had to deal with a HIA for some of their players.
A couple of HIA, so we'll have to review those with our medical staff. We also picked up a couple last week also, and unfortunately, for young Ross Ravu, it's his second one in the last 3 weeks or so. So we're definitely going to have a look at that. Otherwise, we're just working with our processes in both attack and defense.
But Nigel says the win is a big improvement.
They've improved over the last 2 weeks, so that's a good thing for us. And efforts really is what we're looking at.
He added that the team needs to tighten up on their processes of play as they take on reigning premiers Tigers next weekend.
For us, it's basically just doing our part properly. We're coming up against the Tigers, and they're everything this competition is all about. They're a well-established club, and for us to measure up against them, we just have to be tidy with all our little processes, the catching passes and tackle and all that type of stuff.
The Port Moresby Vipers failed to put together a 2-match winning streak, falling short to the Mendi Muruks, who now have won all their 3 matches so far as of yesterday. The Muruks edged past Vipers 12 points to 6 in the second match of the Cup, Digicel Cup in Port Moresby. The Vipers were looking for their second win on home soil yesterday when they took on the Mendi Muruks, who were looking for their 3rd win in a row. The Vipers were quick to strike. An individual effort by fullback Brendan Gotuno got the Vipers on the board first. A successful conversion extended their lead to 6-0, but the Muruks came back in the 19th minute, losing control for a bit, but winger Bob Tenza recovering to cross over for the team's first try. The scores remained tied at 6 apiece at half-time. 5 minutes into the second half and a break by Muruks fullback Dixon Pipi, paving the way for a centre try by Joe Honk. The try by Joe Honk sealing the victory for the Mendi Muruks 12 points to 6. Vipers coach Leonard Tarum said that Aseboas is likely to miss the next 2 weeks due to injury.
Yes, I think he's got the hamstring or he's got major injury, so we will probably rest him for some good time.
Despite the loss, Tarum also sees the team improving.
I think the boys played well today. Comparing the 2 last games, the boys put up a good show today. Though we lost, but I think I can see boys are improving.
But one thing is for sure, and that is the team needs to figure out their halves problem.
I think our issue today is problem today with the halves, our halves and the hookers. When Ase came out, the boys couldn't control the game. I think the management is not there.
And that story ends Trukai Sports. Charmaine will be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Moniplus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in southern region. Port Moresby, Kerema and Alotau, mostly fine, partly cloudy. Daru, mostly cloudy. Popondetta, rain showers, drizzles at times. In Momase, Ley, mostly cloudy tonight with morning rain showers. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, partly cloudy with morning rain drizzles. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, fine. Kavieng, rain showers and cloudy. Kokopo, Rabaul, rain showers, drizzles. Kimbe and Buka, occasional thundery rain showers. And in the Highlands region, all centers, rain showers, drizzles tonight, then morning fog. Forecast for small crabs within the coastal waters of Papua New Guinea for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru, through the Gulf of Papua to Hood Point to Samarai, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 1.0 to 2.0 meters. Waters of East Cape to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, seas 1.0 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Finchafen through Vitias, Dampier Strait to Siasi Island to Long Island to Karkar, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Karkar Island to Wewak to Aitape to the northern PNG Indonesian border with waters of Manus and its western group of islands and with waters of New Island, East and West New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral seas, seas moderate with east to southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. The Solomon seas, seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. The Bismarck seas, seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. And the Pacific Ocean, seas slight with southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that has been the news for Sunday, 19th of July 2020 from all of us here at MTV. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.